Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn about XSD. So what is XSD? XML schema definition, or we can call it as simply XML schema. So as in previous video we are discussed about like DTD. So these both XSD and DTD, these are going to use to validate XML file. To validate XML file. So what is the difference? What is DTD and what is XSD? What is the difference? Why we have two techniques to validate the XML file? So coming to DTD, like here compared to DTD with XSD, XSD it is going to provide more specific information about your XML file. Let us see first what is the structure and what we have in XSD. So in XSD, like it is going to start while writing XSD, it is going to start the root element with XS colon schema. This is the root element we need to use, XS colon schema. Then what are the data types we have in XML schema? As we know, we discussed in DTD, we are having two data types, that is PC data and C data. So coming to XSD, we have data types like XS colon string, XS colon string, and we have XS colon integer, and we have XS colon date, XS colon decimal, and we have XS colon boolean. So these are the data types we have. So as you know, like while writing DTD, you are going to specify the data type as like only PC data and C data. So for anything like integer or string or date, you are going to specify it is with PC data in DTD. Whereas coming to schema, that is XSD, we have different types of data types. So by writing XSD, you can mention any of the data type. Next, what are the element data types we have in XML? So we have element type like complex. So what is the meaning of complex? If any element it is having element which is having child node or child element, we called it as, then it is called as complex. Okay, so element which is having child element, so that is called as complex element type. Complex element type. Okay, so we need to mention whether it is complex or simple. We are not specifying simple, but while writing complex, we are going to specify it as complex by using the element XS colon complex type. Okay, so this is the way of writing XSD. First, we need to use the root element, that is XS colon schema. Then we need to mention the data types as these. Then while writing element, whether you need to mention whether it is complex type. And we have one more element while writing XSD, that is XS colon sequence. access colon sequence. So what the use of this access colon sequence is? See, in previous video we discussed about email. So we are writing email like to from like next subject. Okay, next we are written body. So to from subject body. So what is this sequence? First you need to write to, then from, then subject, then body. This order only you need to follow while writing DTD. After writing DTD, while writing XML, you need to follow this order, right? But there we are not going to specify it with any element in DTD. But by seeing the XML document or by seeing the DTD, you can follow the order of these elements, right? But coming to XSD, so that you need to specify with separate element, that is access colon sequence. In which sequence it should be, that you are going to specify with access colon sequence. So this is about how to write the elements in XSD. Next we have attributes. While writing attributes, how to write? So you know what is the meaning of attribute? Attribute it is which is going to provide the more information about your element. Suppose if you take like HTML, you have the body element, right? In body you are going to specify like BG color. Okay, so BG color is equal to or something color you are mentioning. Okay, then align you are giving, align is equal to center you are giving. So while writing HTML code like this, you are going to specify. Now body is a element and BG color and align, these are the attributes of the body element, right? So what you are going to do this with these attributes? These are the attributes which are going to provide or which are going to specify the more information about your body element, right? So here in XML also we have attributes for each and every element. You can write it attributes for each and every element. So while writing attributes, how to write XSD? Okay, so for that we are having the attribute data types. So while writing attributes, we have attribute data types. Data type, that is, you can mention it as ID, okay, or you can go with the C data, okay, or we can write entity. Data type, you can mention it as entity or entities. So these are the attribute types. Next, we can mention attribute value. We can mention attribute values as hash required, or you can mention hash employed, or you can mention hash fixed. So what is the meaning of mentioning these? Suppose, let us take example, you are having a company. Okay, you are having a company. Uh, you are having company, right? So here, suppose let us take address. So now what is the here? Company is a element and address is a attribute. Okay, so attribute, and I am giving the attribute value. Okay, so here what is the meaning of this hash required, employed and fixed is nothing but So for every employee, you want to specify company where he is working, okay, and address will be, if it is fixed, you are taking all the companies which are available in the only location Hyderabad, okay. So then you can write it as Hyderabad, then you can mention it as fixed. Means for every employee, while writing XML, it is going to, by default, it is going to take for every employee information address as a Hyderabad, okay. So if you want to mention different employees, like every each and every employee you want to mention different address, then you can mention it as required. Means for every employee you need to mention the address where he is working. It can be same location or it can be different location. Okay, so that is the meaning of required. Hashtag. See, while filling any registration form or anything in HTML or in a web page, you are going to get the asterisk mandatory, right? So like that, required is a attribute value which is going to specify while writing XML file. You need to mention the value of that attribute. Okay, so like this, you can use the attribute values. So this is the introduction about like XSD. First of all, what is XSD? It is a XML schema definition which is going to use to validate the XML file. Why we are going with the XSD? We have already DTD, right? So why again you are writing XSD? Means compared to DTD, XSD it is going to provide more information about your XML file. Okay. So here we have, these are the data types, and while writing XSD, you need to mention element type as complex when it is having child nodes. Then sequence, you need to use the element that is sequence while writing the XML elements. Then for attributes, we have, these are the data types and these are the values. This is the example. Okay, so now let us see. Suppose we have the XML document that is person. Let us take a simple XML file which is having person. In person, we have ID. So close this ID. Then close this name. Then address. Address, right? So you need to close the person. So let us take, this is the XML file we have. We will save it. How to save XML files? File name dot XML. So I'm saving this file name as person.xml. Okay. So if you run this, as we know, like you are going to run with any browser, this one, it will display in a tree format, right? So this is the output you are going to get if you run your XML file. Now coming to, for this XML file, now let us see how to write XSD. Let us see how to write XSD. So as I said, what is the root first element you need to specify while writing XSD? That is access schema, right? So here write access colon schema. Okay, so here we need to use XML NS, that is XML namespace and access. This is a prefix of that XML NS namespace. Now I'll show you what is this and why you are using this. You need to include some link. Okay, so that is www.w3.org slash. So this year you can use any like 1919 or 1999 also you can use. XML schema. Okay, so root element you need to use access colon schema. Then XML namespace, XML NS namespace. This is. So what is this link? Why I have included this link? So just to copy this link. Okay. So once paste it in browser, if you paste it in browser, let us see what you are going to get. See here, you are going to get the documentation about XML schema. So if you click on this, see this documentation, it will provide about XML schema. And if you click on like, see DTD data types, DTD, you can download that also. So it will provide the documentation about your XML files. See introduction, everything. Okay, so that is the use of this adding link into your XSD. So here next you are going to use the element, that is access colon element. Okay, so this is the element which is having predefined element which is having definition about this in this link. So that is the reason while writing XSD you are using these elements. Okay, so this element, how you can use this. If you are not including this link into XML schema, you are going to get the errors that this element is not formed. I can tell you example for this. See, while writing like any writing Java code, you are going to call the default functions by importing packages, right? Suppose if you are using handling string handling functions, you are going to import the package string.h. Like that, here also in XML, we are having the concept of namespace. So this namespace, if you include into your XML or XSD, then what are the elements you are going to use? So it is going to work in your file. So now name. So if you check with XML file, what is the root element we have? Person, right? So that you need to mention element name is equal to person. Name is equal to person. Okay. Next means this is completed. Person we have added into XSD. Now what we have another element, that is ID. Now we have ID element which includes in person, right? Where it is in person element only. Okay. So now what you have to do? You need to specify this person is a complex type. When you need to mention it is a complex type, access colon complex type, when you are going to mention if it is a element which is having child element, right? So here person is having child elements of ID, name and address. So it is a complex type. right? So for that, I am mentioning here it as complex type. Complex type. Okay. So just close this. Then, okay. Means if you are specifying this, then it will browser will understand that okay, person is a complex type which is having child elements. And then what I said, what is the use of this? What is access sequence? We need to use this while writing schema, that in which order you are going to write it in XML, right? So first write access colon sequence, access colon sequence. Then you can mention the elements. Again, you need to use the tag that is element access colon element access colon element. Then mention the name. So what we have in person, first element, that is ID, right? So here you need to mention it as ID. Then you need to mention the type. What is the data type of this element? Okay. So that you can mention it with type is equal to access colon. So ID here while writing XML file, we have mentioned it as only digits. Okay. So because of that, I am giving it as integer. If you want alphanumeric, then you can mention access colon string. Okay. So close this. Close this access element. Next, ID completed. Now we have another element in same person. So access element, access element. Then what is the name of it? After ID, what we have? After ID, we have name. Okay. So name is equal to name. Okay. Then I am mentioning type is equal to access colon string. Access colon string. Okay. Next, what we have again here, access colon, sorry, name after name, we are having one more element, that is address. Okay. So here element, then name is equal to address. Okay. Type is equal to access colon, and what is the, it is a string. See, if you have date of birth, then you can mention access colon date. So now all the elements are completed. Okay. Person, it is having only 3 elements, right? ID, name, address, all those we have included into XSD, right? So now what you have to do, you need to close this. These elements are closed here only where it is open. Okay. Then coming to, you need to close access colon sequence. As like HTML and XML file, here also every element it is having open tag and sorry, open element and closing element. So access complex type you need to close. So access colon complex type. See, we didn't save our file, so we are not getting any suggestions. So once if you save your file, you will by default you are going to get the suggestions. So first to save it, what is this XSD, right? So I am giving person, file name as person, then give extension as XSD, XML schema definition. So just click on save. Okay, so complex type, then what you need to close, element, access colon element, Next, what you need to close? Schema. Access colon schema. Okay. So this is the way of writing XSD. For this XML file, we are writing XSD. Okay. So now how to check, how to validate your XML file. So go to here as same process. Yes, one more thing you need to do it here. Like you have written these in both different files, right? So how to include this into XML? How you are going to include this into XML file? So for that you need to make some changes here. In person, again you need to go with the namespace, that is XML ns colon XSI. Okay, so just write the like link http colon double slash www dot w3 dot org. Again same year 2001 I am using slash xml schema schema hyphen instance. Just close this. Okay, then one more thing you need to write, that is XSI. Whatever we have used in here prefix, for that also you need to mention the location. So XSI is no namespace, no namespace schema location, no namespace schema location equal to, then you need to mention in double quotes where you are having your DTD file, sorry, XSD file. Where you are having XSD file, you need to mention here double quotes. So how to copy this path? Otherwise by seeing here we will write. So where is my file is C colon slash users. You need to include entire path where that XSD is available. So I'm giving a XSD file name, that is person dot XSD. So this is the path you need to include. So in person you need to include this. Then these are same as it is. No need to change anything.